do you think that it's important to really kind of evaluate who the competition is
Absolutely.
and figure out how you are different?
Yes, of course. Listen, if you don't know, who your competition is, and you don't know how they do it, then how do you create, a value for yourself, and how do you create a point of differentiation? The thing about real estate is, when you think about it, we all do the same things. We'll do the same from A to Z. We know it's not a linear thing. We don't go A, B, C, D. We go from A to F, back to B, down to Z. You know what I mean? Like, it's all over the place. But ultimately, we do the same things, and the arsenal of tools that we have at our disposition are pretty much the same. It's a very uniform thing. That's what allows somebody like me to break into a market, and you to break into your markets, because we have kind of like universe, what is the word? Universitality? I don't know. A universal nature to what we are doing, right? But I do think that it is what creates the advantage is your ability to have that point of differentiation. That really is what makes
Perfect.
what makes a difference.
Now, there's also that connection and the ability to tie into your brokerage support. And
Mhm.
our audience is going to be made up of real estate professionals with lots of different brands, some of them large, well known brands, some of them
Yeah.
independents. We probably have a lot of broker owners on the call listening to us. And so I want to ask you about how you leverage
Yes.
being a Coldwell Banker luxury ambassador, but kind of in a global sense of how you leverage the tools of your brokerage, the strength of your brokerage, whether it be a big well-known name or whether it be a boutique independent.
Yeah, well, I do think that the first step on that is to really realize that your current broker is your home. That current brokerage is your home. Because I think that when you have that sense, I think it's a matter of culture, right? I think that regardless of whether a company is large or whether a company is a small company, it's always going to be about the culture. And if it's a culture that actually is kind of like, supporting your process, then you're in the right place. So I think I would say first identify if that company is home. I think in the past few years, 10 years, has been this shift on the general culture of real estate, in which agents are just moving from one company to the other one and looking for the different split and for the signing bonus and all this stuff. And then it's like, well, what, and that's fine. If that works for you, that works. For me, I think the most important thing is really to find that sense of home. That's why I've never left Cold Banker, because Cold
Mhm.
Banker to me is home. And so that's number one. I believe in the culture of the company. And then number two, it has to do with the vision of your business. For me, when I look at the luxury market segment, obviously it requires local expertise, and that's what I bring to the table: is my local expertise and my local knowledge of how this specific market segment operates. But the luxury market segment, more than any other market segment, is a global business. It's really fueled not only by your local buyers and sellers, but it's really fueled by your feeder markets, and it's really fueled by that relationship between your market and understanding what that relationship between your market and those feeder markets it's all about. And so when I think of Coldwell Banker, I think of the strength, the international strength of that company. The fact that I was asked to be a global luxury ambassador is a tremendous honor for me, because it's only 18 or 20 of us around the world. And so I take that very seriously. But I also do truly believe on that global nature of the company, and that ability for me to establish relationships beyond my market, and like real relationships with agents that also understand how I do the business, and they do it at the same level or sometimes even better. And so I know that for me, for example, in Boston, markets like San Francisco, like LA, like Miami, New York, right, and internationally markets like London, like Paris, are really important markets, because our clients are really kind of like going back and forth between those. And so for me, being able to establish a relationship with somebody like Jade Mills in LA, right, or the Jill Zeta Group in Miami, or Laurent Demure in Paris, it's important. It's not just a simple relationship, but to me, it's really the ability to provide continuity for my clients. And so no matter where they are, they're being provided a level of service that equals or surpasses what I do for them in my local market.
And I love how that ties back into your personal brand, right? Your brokerage has to have the right fit, the same core values.
Yes.
And I have to chuckle about the movement of agents. I have had six recruiting calls myself today.
Um,
So it's definitely hot and
Yeah,
heavy right
there was
now.
a husband on that. I think if that works for you, that works for you. And you were asking me the question, and to me, that is more important than anything else. The culture
Oh,
without rating. So,
absolutely. And I'm incredibly happy with the culture where I am. So I just have to chuckle at all the calls that
yeah,
I'm getting
yeah,
trying to make me move. And I know that's true for so many of our
yeah.
members. And a lot of our members question, they ask, should I make a move to a different brokerage that has a different presence in the luxury brand? And I think that you really hit the nail on the head that it's less about that and more about whether the culture and the core values match your own, and that becomes part of the brand.
And listen, I think that you build a business for your client. I think sometimes we build, and I see it, right? Like, and I've been there, by the way. It's not that I see it, that I've been there, in which sometimes you make decisions that are based on what you think should be happening, and not necessarily what your client direction is. And I think I've learned, particularly in the past few years, that really, if I want to grow, I have to pay attention to what my clients are saying, and I got to pay attention to what my clients want. Certainly, that long-term kind of like strategy has to be belongs to me, and is the direction of my own personal business. But I think that ultimately, I have learned that I have to listen to my clients. And so I don't think I mentioned this to you, Tammy, before. I literally expanded into Rhode Island 2 months ago, and 3 months ago. And the reason why I expanded into Rhode Island is because my clients are like, they're looking for projects in Providence. They have summer homes in Newport, right? And there is
Mhm.
this relationship between Boston and Rhode Island that made sense for me to expand both on the new construction as well as on the luxury market segment part of my business. And so I do, I really do believe that as much as we want to have that strategy for growth, at the same time, that strategy needs to be an organic strategy that represents where our clients are going and what our clients want. Again, those relationships with, let's say, with those agents that I mentioned earlier, those are not vacuous relationships. Those are actually really important personal and business relationships, and they go beyond the business. They're real friendships. But it allowed me to really, again, provide a level of uniformity on my business that is elevated across, no matter where my clients are going. You know.
Sure. Now, I think that also could translate to perhaps the value in your brand of being part of the Institute for Luxury Home Marketing.
Absolutely.
Do you leverage that in your branding and in your client interface?
Listen, absolutely. Again, it's talk about a resource, right? Talk about a brain trust. To have something like the institute in Coldwell Banker. We have a global luxury, the program, the one that I'm an ambassador to, and global luxury is very tightly related. Has a strong relationship to the institute, and so when I think about the level of like brain trust and expertise that is pulled together, right, and that is at our disposition, being member of the institute and being part of the global luxury program, to me are the basics of being a luxury agent, and are part of strong parts of that definition of me as a luxury agent.